By the end of this time together, your shoulders will relax, your breath will deepen, and a sense of fresh possibility will settle into your spirit. You are about to walk a path in the shadows into the spotlight, and in doing so, you'll find the courage to step into your own sunlit destiny. Welcome to Faith Then and Now. We are building a sanctuary of stories here, a place where history meets hope. Anchor yourself to this community right now. Click that subscribe button. Let it be a commitment to your own growth. Like this video to spread warmth to the algorithm, and in the comments, write the words, "I am ready to rise." Declare it. Feel the truth of it. I am ready to rise. Now let us drift back. Houston, Texas. The year is 1999. Imagine the air is thick with humidity, clinging to your skin. The sky is wide, an endless canvas of blue over the sprawling city. But inside a dimly lit production room, the air is cool. It smells of static and coffee. For 17 years, this was the safe harbor. This was the domain of a man named Joel. You know the face. You know the smile that beams like a lighthouse. But pull back the curtain of time. Before the stadium. Before the millions. Before the books that lined the shelves of airports across the world. There was just a sun, standing in the dark. Content. For nearly 2 decades, Joel Osteen was the man behind the camera. He was the architect of the image, but never the image itself. He wore the headset, not the microphone. He felt the solid plastic of the camera grip in his hands, grounding him. He loved the shadows. There's a specific comfort in the background. It feels like a warm blanket. It feels secure. You can influence the world without the world watching you breathe. You can shape the message without the weight of the spotlight burning your skin. Joel was brilliant at it. He had a vision for television. He saw how to bring his father's voice into living rooms across the globe. He spent his days editing, cutting, polishing. He was wrapped in the joy of service. He was a producer. His father, John Osteen, was a titan, a man of thunder and gentleness. John was the founder, the pioneer. When John walked into a room, the atmosphere shifted. He carried a gravity that pulled people in. Joel admired that gravity. He respected it, but he had no desire to carry it. Every week, John would ask him, "Joel, why don't you preach for me?" And every week, Joel's answer was smooth, firm, unwavering. "No, Dad, that's your gift. My gift is here, behind the lens." He was certain. He was settled. He was wrapped in the identity of the supporter. But life has a way of shifting the floor beneath our feet. It happens fast. It happens in the quiet moments. A Friday in January. The phone rings. The sound is sharp, piercing. John is in the hospital. Kidney trouble. It seems manageable. It seems like a season, not a finale. But the air in the hospital room feels different. It feels heavy. Joel walks in. The sterile smell of the hospital is sharp in his nose. He sees his father, the man who was his hero, the man who seemed unbreakable. John is lying there, and he looks up at Joel. There is a moment of silence, a silence that is texture. It feels thick. John asks again, one more time, "Joel, will you preach me this Sunday?" Usually the answer is a swift no. Usually the refusal is automatic. But this time, something shifts in Joel's chest. A warmth spreads. A strange, quiet authority rises up in his throat. He hears himself speak. "Yes, Dad, I'll do it." He didn't know why he said it. The words hung in the air, shimmering. He felt a sudden weight land on his shoulders. Not a burden, but a mantle. He walked out of that hospital room, and the world looked different. The concrete under his feet felt harder. The sky felt bigger. He had just said yes to the one thing he had spent a lifetime avoiding. Saturday arrived. The countdown began. The anxiety tried to come. But Joel anchored himself. He sat in his study. He held his father's shoes in his mind, shoes that seemed impossible to fill. He wasn't a theologian. He wasn't an orator. He was a camera guy, but he had a voice. Sunday morning, January 17th, 1999, the sanctuary of Lakewood Church. It is vast. The lights are bright, hot. Joel steps onto platform. Usually he is in control booth. directing the angles, checking the audio levels. Now he is the focal point. He looks out, a sea of faces, thousands of eyes. His mouth feels dry. His heart is a drum against his ribs. But then he speaks. He doesn't try to be John. He doesn't try to thunder. He is Joel. He is soft. He is encouraging. He is authentic. He preaches a message about faith, about standing tall when the wind blows. And the people listen. They lean in. There is a connection, a thread of gold tying his heart to theirs. He finishes. He steps down. The relief is cool water on a hot day. He thinks, I did it. I honored him. Now I can go back to the shadows. He rushes to the hospital. He wants to tell his father. He wants to say, Dad, I did it. The people were kind. He walks into the room, but the silence is different now. The nurses are moving quietly. The doctors are speaking in low tones. Joel Osteen is unconscious. He never heard Joel preach. Or did he? Maybe he heard it in the spirit. Maybe he knew. A few days later, the Titan took his last breath. Joel Osteen went home, and Joel was left standing on the earth. The grief was a physical weight. It felt like a stone in his chest, a deep, aching bruise. But beneath the grief, there was something else. A vast, open space. A vacuum. The church was in shock. The leader was gone. The voice was silent. Who would step up? The critics began to whisper. You could hear the murmur in the city. Lakewood is finished. The old man was a magic. The son is just a tech guy. It will crumble within a year. The whispers were loud. They were sharp. They felt like ice. Joel heard them. He stood in the hallway of the church. The walls felt like they were closing in. He looked at the empty pulpit. It looked like a mountain. High, steep, unclimbable. He was 35 years old. He had preached one time, one single time. And now, the weight of a 40-year legacy was hovering over him. He had a choice. He could retreat. He could hire a famous preacher. He could find someone with a booming voice and a theology degree. He could go back to the editing suite, back to the dark, cool room where he felt safe. Or he could step into the fire. He could step into the unknown. He went home. He sat on the edge of his bed. The room was quiet. He opened his Bible. The pages felt smooth under his fingertips. Thin paper, strong words. He read a verse about Joshua, about stepping into the land that was promised, about being strong and of good courage. Courage, it is not the absence of trembling. It is the trembling that keeps moving forward. He felt a peace settle over him, a peace that defied logic, a peace that felt like a warm hand on his shoulder. He looked at his wife, Victoria. She looked back. Her eyes were steady. She was an anchor. You can do this, Joel. Her belief was a solid ground. He made the decision. He would step up, not to replace his father, but to become himself. The next Sunday, the atmosphere was electric, but it was also fragile. The congregation was grieving. They were uncertain. They were like sheep looking for a shepherd. Joel walked to the podium. He wore his father's shoes. Literally, he slipped his feet into a pair of John's black dress shoes. He wanted to feel the foundation. He gripped the wood of the pulpit. It felt smooth, solid. He looked out, and he began to speak. We are going to move forward. His voice was steady. It was a voice of a new era. But the road was not going to be smooth. The transition was immediate. But the transformation, that was just beginning. Because preaching is one thing. Leading is another. The church began to grow. It didn't shrink. It didn't crumble. It expanded. People were hungry for this new sound. The sound of hope. This sound of relentless positivity. John had been the fire. Joel was the light. John had been the thunder. Joel was the rain. And the people were thirsty. But growth brings pressure. The building was too small. The parking lot was a gridlock. The walls were bursting. They needed space. And this is where the story takes a turn that no one saw coming. This is where the quiet camera guy had to become a warrior. Across the city of Houston, there sat a giant, the Compaq Center, the home of the Houston Rockets, a stadium, a fortress of concrete and steel. a place of champions. It sat right on the freeway, a massive, imposing structure. Millions of cars passed it every day. Joel drove by it, and he felt something, a pull, a magnetic tug in his gut. "That's ours," he whispered. It sounded crazy. It sounded impossible. A church? In a sports arena? The city would never allow it. The critics would laugh. The cost would be astronomical. But the vision was a seed, and the seed had fallen into good soil. Joel went to his team. He told them the dream. He saw the hesitation in their eyes. He felt their doubt. It hung in the room like smoke. "Joel, the city owns that building." "Joel, there are huge companies fighting for it." "Joel, we're just a church." But Joel was wrapped in a new kind of confidence. He said, "We will fight for it." And the battle began. This was not a battle of sermons. This was a battle of lawyers, of city council meetings, of public opinion. The attacks came. Newspapers ran headlines. People protested. Keep the church out of the arena. The pressure was immense. It felt like a vice grip tightening every day. Joel would go home at night. The weight of the lawsuit was heavy. The weight of the millions of dollars needed was heavy. He would lie in bed, staring at the ceiling. The shadows of the room would try to whisper fear to him. "You're in over your head. You're just a camera guy. You're going to lose everything." But he would close his eyes. He would breathe deep. He would remember the feeling of his father's shoes. And he would speak into the darkness. "I am favored. I am equipped. I am opening doors that no man can shut." He turned his words into weapons. He turned his declarations into shields. The vote was coming up. The city council would decide. It came down to one vote. One single person would decide the fate of the ministry. One person stood between the past and the future. The day of the vote arrived. The room was packed. The air was tense. You could feel the heartbeat of the city in that room. Joel sat there, quiet, still. He wasn't fighting with fists. He was fighting with peace. The council members cast their votes. Yes, no, yes, no. It was tied. It all came down to a council member who had been against them from the start. A man who had said publicly that a church did not belong in the Compaq Center. The room went silent. A silence so deep you could hear a pin drop on the carpet. The council member leaned into his microphone. He looked at Joel. He looked at the crowd. He took a breath. And in that split second, the destiny of millions hung in the balance. What happened next defied logic. What happened next was the moment the camera guy truly became the general of hope. But the victory wasn't just about a building. It was about what was happening inside the man. The fire was refining him. The pressure was turning the coal into a diamond. And just as the external battle reached its peak, a personal storm began to brew. A storm that would challenge his message of your best life now to its very core. Because while the building was being won, a different kind of loss was lurking in the shadows. A family crisis, a health scare, a moment where the smile would have to be forged in the furnace of pain. You think you know the story of the stadium, but you don't know what it cost him in the secret place. Stay with me, because the miracle at the vote was just the opening act. The real test was about to begin. The council member leans into the microphone. The hum of the room vanishes. The silence is absolute. It feels like the air has been sucked out of the chamber. He looks at the papers in front of him. He looks at Joel. For weeks, this man had been a wall. He had been the no. He had been the barrier. But in that moment, something invisible shifts. It is not political. It is not logical. It is spiritual. He speaks. I have listened to the arguments. I have looked at the numbers. And something tells me this is good for the city. A gasp ripples through the room. He votes yes. The gavel comes down. It sounds like a gunshot starting a race. Crack. Approved. The Compaq Center. The home of champions. The massive concrete fortress on the side of the freeway. It now belongs to the church. Joel sits back. He feels the breath rush back into his lungs. The relief is cool and sweet. He walks out of City Hall. The Houston sun hits his face. It feels brighter. It feels like favor. He gets in his car. He drives to the arena. He wants to walk the ground. He parks in the empty lot. He walks through the service entrance. The arena is dark. It smells of stale popcorn, old sweat, and history. The air is cold. He walks out onto the floor, the place where basketball legends played, the place where championships were won. He stands in the center circle. He looks up. The seats go up and up, disappearing into shadows. 16,000 seats. The magnitude of it hits him. It feels heavy. It feels massive. Lord, he whispers, how are we going to fill this? How are we going to pay for this? The honeymoon of the victory lasts exactly 24 hours. Then the reality sets in. The building is a shell. It needs work. It needs a transformation. The price tag? $100 million. They don't have the money. They have the vision. They have the yes from the city. But the bank account is waiting to be filled. Joel goes to the bank, a major bank, a bank they have been with for years. He puts on his best suit. He carries the blueprints. He carries the dream. He walks into the boardroom. The table is long. Mahogany, polished glass. The air conditioning is freezing. He sits across from the bankers, men with calculators and cold eyes. He pitches the vision. He speaks with passion. He tells them about the growth, about the families. The bankers listen. They nod. They look at the papers. Then the head banker closes the folder. The sound of the folder closing is final. Joel, he says, we love you. We loved your dad. But this is too big. The risk is too high. We can't do it. Rejection. It feels like a physical blow to the stomach. Joel walks out of that bank. The sidewalk feels unsteady beneath his feet. This is the moment. This is the cliff. Most people stop here. Most people say, well, we tried. The bank said no. It wasn't meant to be. But Joel has been changing. Remember the dark room? Remember the editing suite? That quiet man is gone. In his place is a man who has learned the power of the tongue. He gets in his car. He grips the steering wheel. The leather is warm under his hands. He doesn't call a committee. He doesn't panic. He speaks. Father, thank you that you are Jehovah Jireh. Thank you that you own the cattle on 1,000 hills. If one door closes, it's because you have a bigger door ready to swing wide. He drives back to the office. He tells his team, the bank said no. The room goes quiet. Shoulders drop. Eyes look at the floor. But Joel says, the word hangs there. But God has a yes. And then the unexpected happens. A different bank calls. A bank they didn't even apply to. They heard about the project. They heard about the no. They want a meeting. Joel goes. He walks into a new office. The atmosphere is different. There's a warmth here. The banker looks at him. He smiles. Joel, he says, we believe in this. We want to be part of history. Here's a check. $100 million. The financing is secured. The renovation begins. Construction crews flood the arena. The sound of jackhammers fills the air. Dust is everywhere. It covers everything in a fine white powder. But as the walls go up, the pressure comes down. This is the secret cost I told you about. The mental toll. You see Joel on Sunday. The smile is perfect. The hair is perfect. The message is uplifting. It's your Friday, but Sunday is coming. But behind the scenes, the weight is crushing. There are lawsuits trying to stop the construction. There are neighbors complaining about traffic. There are delays. Every day, a new fire to put out. Joel would wake up in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., the hour of the wolf. His mind would race. What if the lawsuits succeed? What if the money runs out? What if we open the doors and no one comes? The fear would try to wrap around his throat like a cold hand. He could have taken pills. He could have crumbled. He could have lashed out in anger. Instead, he went to Scripture. He began to curate a list of declarations. He realized that his battle wasn't against the city. It wasn't against the bank. The battle was in his mind. He started walking his driveway in the dark. I am strong in the Lord. I am surrounded by favor. I am heavy with blessing. He didn't say, I am not worried. because worried is a negative anchor. He said, "I am wrapped in peace." This was a laboratory. This pressure cooker was where his theology was distilled. He wasn't just preaching to the crowd anymore. He was preaching to himself to stay alive. He was preaching to keep his own heart beating in rhythm. The renovation took 3 years. 3 years of dust. 3 years of fights. 3 years of standing on a rock when the waves were crashing over his head. And then, July 16th, 2005, grand opening. The sun is setting over Houston. The Compaq Center is glowing. The lights are on. The cross is up. The freeway is jammed. Miles of cars. Red taillights stretching as far as the eye can see. They are coming. Joel stands backstage. He is wearing a dark suit. He adjusts his tie. He can hear the roar. It sounds like the ocean. It sounds like thunder. It is the sound of 16,000 people praising. He thinks back to the hospital room. He thinks back to the editing suite. He thinks back to the no from the bank. He takes a deep breath. He walks up the steps. He steps into the light. The crowd erupts. He doesn't see strangers. He sees a family. He smiles. And this time, the smile comes from a place of deep, tested victory. Welcome to Lakewood. It is a triumph. It is the peak of the mountain. But every mountain has a valley on the other side. Success brings scrutiny. The ministry explodes. It goes global. The books become bestsellers. The broadcast reaches every nation. And with the reach comes the backlash. Critics rise up. They attack the message. They call it prosperity light. They call it cotton candy. They say, he never talks about suffering. He never talks about the hard stuff. They don't know about the nights in the driveway. They don't know about the pressure that almost broke his back. But then a real storm comes. Not a metaphor. A literal storm. Hurricane Harvey, August 2017. The sky over Houston turns black. The rain begins to fall. And it doesn't stop. It rains and rains and rains. The city begins to drown. The freeways turn into rivers. Homes are swallowed by the gray, murky water. The panic is rising. And everyone looks to the Lakewood Church, the massive building on the high ground, the former arena. Open the doors. Twitter screams. Why are they closed? The news anchors ask. A narrative begins to form. A dark, twisted narrative. Joel Osteen locked the church while the city drowned. It spreads like wildfire. It trends on social media. Millions of tweets. Venom, anger, hatred. Joel is sitting in his home. The water is rising near his own house. He sees the news. He sees the hate. The truth is complicated. The basement of the arena, the place where the tech equipment lives, the place where the heart of the broadcast beats, is prone to flooding. The floodgates were installed, but the roads around the church were impassable. If they opened the doors too early, people would be trapped in a dangerous place. But the internet doesn't care about nuance. The internet wants a villain. And for 48 hours, Joel Osteen becomes a villain of the world. He is watching his reputation. The reputation he built with kindness, with 30 years of integrity, being shredded in real time. It feels like the no from the bank, but 1,000 times louder. It feels like the darkness of the hospital room, but without the quiet. His team is frantic. We need to issue a statement. We need to fight back. Joel stands in his living room. The rain is hammering against the glass. He feels the weight. It is heavy. It is suffocating. He has a choice. He can get defensive. He can get angry. He can fire back at the critics. Or he can do what he did in the bank. He can do what he did in the council chamber. He can anchor himself. He picks up the phone. Get the volunteers ready, he says. His voice is calm. As soon as the roads are safe, we open. And we don't just open the doors. We open our hearts. We become the shelter. The water recedes slightly. The roads clear. And Lakewood opens. But the cameras are waiting. The world is watching. They are waiting for him to stumble. They are waiting for the rich preacher to fail. What happens next is not a sermon. It is not a book deal. It is the rawest moment of his ministry. It involved a warehouse of supplies. a line of cars stretching for miles, and a moment where the prosperity preacher rolls up his sleeves and touches the mud. But just as he prepares to step out into the aftermath of a storm, a message comes through. A message that changes the stakes again. Someone is inside the church. Someone who shouldn't be there. And what they found in the walls, well, that's a twist no one saw coming. Stay tuned. The storm is clearing, but the mystery is just beginning. The doors of Lakewood Church swing wide. The air outside is thick with humidity and the smell of churned up earth. The rain has stopped, but the water is still high. Inside, the arena is cool. The lights are bright. The people begin to arrive. They don't look like the Sunday crowd. They are not wearing suits. They are wearing wet t-shirts. They are carrying trash bags filled with everything they own. Some are carrying children who are fast asleep, exhausted by the trauma. Joel stands at the entrance. He is not behind a pulpit. He is not behind a camera. He is right there, on the concrete floor. He shakes hands. He hugs strangers. He looks into eyes that are wide with shock. "Welcome home," he says. "You are safe here." The cameras capture this. The narrative shifts. The critics were typing furiously on keyboards, but Joel was moving boxes. Semi-trucks begin to roll into the loading dock. Amazon sends supplies. Local businesses send food. The arena, the place built for basketball, the place fought for in City Hall, transforms. The seats are empty, but the floor is full. Thousands of cots line the hardwood. It looks like a field of safety. Volunteers in yellow shirts swarm the building like an army of kindness. They are handing out towels, warm food, diapers. Joel walks through the aisles of cots. He listens. He hears stories of lost homes, of rising water, of fear that tried to drown them. And he speaks life. "We will rebuild," he tells a weeping father. "You are surrounded by strength." He doesn't offer empty platitudes. He offers presence. The controversy melts away. The truth stands tall. The church didn't close its heart. It just needed the water to recede so it could open its arms safely. Houston recovers. The drywall is replaced. The carpets are cleaned. The sun comes out again. But the building, this massive converted sports arena, still has secrets to tell. It holds history in its bones. And sometimes, history falls out of the walls. Fast forward. November 2021. It is a quiet Thursday morning. The sanctuary is empty. The silence is peaceful. In a bathroom behind the scenes, a plumber is working. He is there to fix a loose toilet. Just a routine job. A mundane task. He drills into the wall to remove some loose tile. The drill whirs. The dust falls. He pulls back a piece of insulation. And then something falls out. It isn't debris. It isn't plaster. It is an envelope. Then another. Then another. They hit the floor with a soft thud. The plumber freezes. He reaches down. The paper feels old, brittle. He opens one. Cash. Stacks of it. Checks. He pulls out more insulation. It is raining money. 500 envelopes. Nearly $600,000. It had been sitting there for 7 years. In 2014, the church had been robbed. The safe was emptied. The police investigated. The news reported it. But the money was never found. Until now, hidden in a wall, behind a toilet, discovered by a plumber on a random Thursday. The plumber calls the supervisor. The supervisor calls Joel. Now pause. Think about the temptation. Think about the easy road. No one knows. The insurance company already settled the claim years ago. The case was cold. They could have kept it. They could have used it for ministry. They could have seen it as a blessing. But remember the man. Remember the character forged in the editing room. Remember the integrity practiced in the dark. Joel doesn't hesitate. Call the police. He hands it all over. Every dime, every check. The news explodes again. Plumber finds fortune in Lakewood walls. It sounds like a movie. It sounds like fiction. But to Joel, it is just another chapter in a life lived in the open. It is a testament that nothing stays hidden. That truth always rises to surface. That integrity is doing the right thing when only the plumber is watching. The plumber is rewarded. The church is vindicated. The mystery is solved. And Joel stands on stage the next Sunday. He smiles. That famous, easy smile. He looks at the crowd. God has a way of working out the details, he says. The crowd laughs. They cheer. But they are cheering for more than a found treasure. They are cheering for the journey. Look at the ark. The young man in the shadows, terrified of the microphone. The son grieving the loss of his Titan father. The leader facing the no from the bank. The visionary fighting for the arena. The pastor weathering the hurricane of hate. The man standing firm while money falls from the walls. He was never meant to be Joel Osteen. He was meant to be Joel. He stopped trying to fill his father's shoes and decided to walk his own. And in doing so, he created a path for millions. His message changed. It started as step up. It became stand firm. It evolved into rule your atmosphere. He taught us that words are containers for power. He taught us that a no is just a setup for a greater yes. He taught us that the darkroom is where the image is developed. So where does that leave you? Right now, as you listen to my voice, you might be in the shadows. You might feel the cool air of obscurity. You might think your gift is too small, your voice is too quiet. You might be holding the shoes of a giant, wondering how you will ever walk. Or maybe you are in the storm. The water is rising. The critics are loud. The bank said no. Take a breath. Feel the air fill your lungs. That is the breath of purpose. You are not finished. You are just in the editing room. The master producer is cutting the scene. He is adjusting the light. He is preparing the script. Your debut is coming. Your Compaq Center is waiting on the side of the freeway. It looks like a fortress right now. It looks occupied, but it has your name on the deed. Joel Osteen's story is not about a perfect man with a perfect smile. It is about a faithful man who kept saying yes when everything in him wanted to stay comfortable. It is about the transformation from I can't to I am equipped. Let his journey be your evidence. If the camera guy can become the voice of hope for a generation, what can you become? The credits are not rolling on your life. The opening scene is just beginning. Stand up, shoulders back, head high. You are wrapped in favor. You are heavy with potential. You're anchored in hope. Walk into your light. Outro and call to action. How does your spirit feel right now? If you felt that weight lift off your shoulders, if you felt a spark of courage ignite in your chest, then this community is where you belong. We are telling the stories of faith, then and now. We are documenting the transformations that change the world. Don't let this moment pass. Click the subscribe button. Lock in your connection to this source of strength. Hit the like button. Let's signal to the world that hope is trending. And I want you to make a declaration in the comments below. Do not just think it. Write it. Give it life. Type the words, I am anchored in hope. Scroll down right now. Type it, I am anchored in hope. I read every comment. I want to see your name. I want to see your declaration. Until next time, keep walking. Keep believing. Your best days are right in front of you.